So my name is Sean Connell, and I'm a proud trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming human being, born and raised in Fall River, and I am not going anywhere. So I'm going to need you guys here to let me be explicit for a minute. So bear with me through some tough thoughts and some real talk. In preparing for tonight, my very life was threatened. So it's not that we're trying to sexualize children. Queer people have been sexualized for centuries. And in that sexualization of us, we've been punished, we've been criminalized, we've been outlawed. Take one step back and look at the earth and understand that more countries and jurisdictions still actively jail, fine, or execute us than allow us to get married. I want us to sit on that. Because the numbers, approximately 30-ish countries allow us to get married, and approximately 70-ish countries jail, fine, or execute us. So yes, some queer people exist on television. You might even have to sit through a TV show that has a trans person who has a story to tell. I'm so sorry that our stories are inconvenient to you. But you know what's inconvenient to me? Being told to kill myself in the city that I've raised myself in, that I've raised friends up in, that I've been a social teacher, an educator, and mentor for my entire life in. I was born at Charlton Memorial Hospital. I've lived in the South End. I've lived in the North End. This is my home, and in my own home, this is the stuff that I've been told. And my story is not unique. Okay, this is not a unique to me story. I am out here and I speak with this voraciousness, and I'm able to talk about this because of those who I have helped, because of the stories of the people you've heard today. Those who are struggling to access gender-affirming care, which saves lives. I'm tired of not raising my voice, and I'm tired of not pushing back. Facebook and Instagram and social media, yeah, it's a void. It is a vacuum. When I engage on those posts, when any of us engage on this, I would encourage you to do what you can, but take rest where you need to. Remember, a lot of those minds you're not going to change, and we're not trying to change those minds. What we are trying to do is remind the people like us, like me, the people who might be reading it from the sidelines, that they're not alone, that they're not abnormal, that they're not sinful, they're not wrong, that the stigma and guilt and the shame that they feel that pushes us to 2 to 5 times the higher suicide rates is something we need to unpack, and that society needs to fix and change, not us.
I always knew that I was non-binary. I actually identify as agender. For those who aren't familiar with that term, it means that I do not feel connected to being masculine or feminine. It's also synonymous with being called genderless for some people. And I came across this term when I was doing a report for school in high school as an ally for transgender bathroom rights, not knowing that it would apply to me someday. And during my research, I found the term genderless, and it immediately clicked with who I was. But I wasn't sure who would be safe to come out to, so I kept it hidden for many, many months, only coming out a little bit to a couple of friends at school, which were all very supportive. And that gave me the courage to, when our LGBTQ+ after school program decided that they were going to have a coming out night, that I was going to take my mom there. And that was a safe environment where students would have their peers and adults would have supportive parents and teachers. If they had questions, they were confused, they would also have someone to support them as well. And my mom agreed to go, and last second she decided she wasn't going to. Me panicking, this was my day, I hyped myself up, my friends were hyping me up, I was like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. So I came down to the kitchen, I came up to my mom, and I was like, Mom, I am not a girl. I am called genderless, because I didn't know the term agender at the time, and I use Z's or Zim pronouns. And she goes, Z's or Zim? Like Zim from Invader Zim, the cartoon? I was like, same energy. Yeah. She's like, okay.
We had drag queen story time, and they said we gave them drugs and had them show them porn. That is the level of lies and rumor making that we are up against every single day. And then, dozens of people in this last year alone, which we'll be reading the names and memorializing them shortly, have been murdered and killed because of who they are. And people dare say that we're the evil ones. I actually challenged that on a recent political post, that they said we are evil for doing this memorialization. And I had to stop and think, not the ones who murdered us, but those who were murdered and those who dare come together to memorialize those lost. We're the evil ones. I don't think it's us who have to check our values on that. I think some people need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and understand that hatred leads to violence every single time. It has been proven throughout history a million times. Do we have dozens of pride centers in every single city? Do we have tens of thousands of gay missionaries spreading the word of what it means to be homosexual? Right? Do we have people handing out pamphlets or going to your door and expressing the gospel to you? No, but we're the ones accused of, again, sexualization, shoving it down our throats. Now, if you want to share the good word and you want to share in community, that's something you can do. But to use that word to demonize people, to say that we are wrong or that we should be killed, your gospel is not anointed. Those are not the words that I've understood from Jesus, God, or almost any religion. When you take a step back and realize how diverse and how beautiful our diversity is.
I have spoken at this event 2 times before, last year and the year before that. The first year I came to you guys, I was a year out from T. I had no idea at the point, but I was. The second time I was 2 months on testosterone, and this year I'm coming to you guys 1 year on testosterone, and I want to say 6 months after receiving my first binder. So it's a little bit of joy there. And I figured maybe just to come full circle, I would reread the first poem I read the first time that I spoke. I wrote it when I was 14, and just really starting to find who I was, starting to understand that there could be more than just what you're born as. And I just figured it was a way to get my feelings out. Yes, I know, you are confused. I sound like a girl, but my chest is not visible, and my clothes are from the men's section of the store. Let me guess, your next words would be, are you a girl or a boy? Boy. I am a boy born into this form that I do not own, this shape that is not mine, a skin that is a little too tight in some areas and a little too loose in others, like a malfunction in the system in the factory of people. During the process of me, they forgot the final switch. I tried to explain to Mom, but you always went for the girls' toys. Yes, I did, but I wanted the trucks. I always went for the girls' toys because at such a young age it is drilled into our minds that girls go for pink, for dresses and heels, for makeup and Barbies. I long for the day that I am free, free of this body that isn't quite me, for the day I can wrap a towel around just my waist instead of my whole body because there will be nothing extra, for the day I can swim without a shirt or a binder or anything else, just swim shorts. For the day that I can look into the mirror and be happy with my chest without worrying about breaking my ribs in the process of feeling myself. For the day that I can be me. I am real, I am here, I am me.
Now imagine that. Because of the work that the committee does to memorialize trans and gender nonconforming people who were murdered, someone felt it was reasonable and acceptable to tell me that I need to die. I have 13 mutual friends with this person's girlfriend. This isn't some random act of hate from a distance. This is homegrown ignorance and hatred at its finest. The current political climate hates us, let's be real. They fear us. Gender nonconforming people, we challenge the patriarchy, we challenge gender roles. We challenge the notion of normal and we break binaries. People don't like that. There are not just two sexes, there is a spectrum. There are not just two genders. There is a spectrum. This is not up for debate. This is what the current science and sociological and psychological science tells us through the diverse human experience of over 8 billion people on Earth across hundreds of countries and thousands of languages. We have been here for thousands of years. Gender nonconforming people and diverse sexualities were documented 10,000 years ago in Sicily, Italy, and we have been here since. Lily Elbe in the early 1920s was the first person to receive gender-affirming sexual reassignment surgery. We're not a frickin' Tumblr fad. We've always been here. So people have to understand, no, gender identity and our sexuality are not the same thing, but they are related. And one of the biggest reasons and ways that they're related, people still think it's acceptable to harm, institutionalize, and even murder us because of these diverse identities. Even though we've always been here, something says that they have a right to take away our life. Does our event here, does this take away from anybody else? Are we taking away from our veterans who proudly served, including our trans and queer veterans? Does this take away from those who have suffered through drug overdose or suicide? Those who have been lost in a car accident or house fires? We're not taking away from any of that because we're here to take care and memorialize our own. We don't want special rights. This is not about special rights. We want equal opportunity and equal access. Just as much as I don't want to tell an old man that he can't get hair plugs, who is he to tell me that I can't access estrogen? Just as much as someone who might just want a nose job because they feel like they want to get a nose job, why can't I transition the sex to fit who I want to be?
I'm a proud transgender woman. I'm also a member of one of the largest drag families in Rhode Island and in New England. I'm a lifelong New Englander, and I'm a person. I was asked to say a few words, and I didn't know what to say. So a quick Google search, and I figured out exactly what this day means. So just a little bit of history. This day was started just a few miles down the road, down 24 in Boston, by a transgender woman and 2 allies. It's not something that's not very far from here, and it shocked me when I read it. This happened 26 years ago. It's only 58 miles down the road. I thought this was something that happened in one of the major cities that are even bigger than Boston, Massachusetts, and New England. But no, it was literally 58 miles down the road, which matters to me because I drive that road every day, or almost every day, with work. When I came out very, very old. Yes, I said old. I'm 41 years old. I came out when I was 38 years old, and I started estrogen right after. And yes, I do have a 20-year-old kid who also knows, who's also come out queer too. I've gotten remarried. Yes, I've been married twice. And we just got remarried recently. The base of what I'm trying to say is that if you see a transgender or a trans person or a non-gender conforming person on a road, all they want to do is live their life, go to work, and be a person. I say a person because everyone deserves to be a person, and no one deserves the treatment that these people went through. And that's where this day lies. As a transgender woman in this day and age, it is very, very hard to live your day every day. But I can say proud that outside of my house, I have a nice big trans flag that flies every day. And I make sure of that. And I literally walk out my door, flip the bird, and keep on moving and live my life. So for those that haven't come out and those that have come out, you are welcome, you are seen, and you are heard. So do it now, or do it whenever you're ready.
I just want to thank everybody so much for coming out here today, hearing our stories, to really creating this space that this has grown out. We first started our Transgender Day of Remembrance walk down at the river with a handful of people. Turns out that's really cold, so we've moved into City Hall. I want those of us who are listening online, those of us who are listening at home, to remember, when you feel unsafe, I'll be your home. This is your home now. This is our home and we're not going anywhere. Reach out to me. Reach out to the Fall River Pride Committee. I have several board members here who would love to hear from you before you no longer talk again. I have organizations here that are here to love and support you and connect you to the resources that you need to feel whole. Because as much as this is a somber occasion, and as much as this can be tough to go through the names and have our moment of silences that we'll end the night with, I want us to remember all the faces in this room. I'm going to invite up Pride Secretary Rachel Loomis, and we're going to read the names of those who've been lost in the last year. Mind you, the names that we are going to read are just in the United States and just in the last 12 months. The full list can be found online because it is a much more exhaustive list, especially if you expand the scope out to the world. Over the last 4 years that you've done it, you can check on when we're doing our moment of silence and raising the flag in a few minutes. We'll have a moment of candlelit silence for all of those fallen that we've been able to memorialize and remember their names over the last 4 years of Fall River coming together for this event. So, without further ado, I'd like to invite Rachel Loomis, our secretary, to come up and read our names.
This year's lost list is as follows. Ani Walker, Jill Heathers Bouvier, Megan Jordan Criddley, Raven Sied, Phoenix Cassetta, Rick Alistair Newman, San Coleman, Dream Johnson, Rosa Machuca, Blair A. Sawyer, Onyx Cornish, Cassie Rea, Scarlett, Tiara Love Tori Jackson, Tessa June, Jax Gratton, Hope Leica Youngblood, Laura Schuler, Emma Slavic, JJ Goodbay, Christina Hayes, Lily Dawn Harkins, Gabrielle Nugent, also known as Cam, Kimora Woods, Artie Cassidy Beowulf Gibson, Lynn Becca Morin, Jordan JJ May, Caitlin LaCynthia Banks, also known as Kai, Nora Horwitz, Kelsey Elm, Shai Perius Dupree, Carmen Wells, Charlotte Fosgate, Jonathan Joss, Roy Mora, Aziza Barnes, Cam Thompson, Mecca Shabazz, Parker Savarese, Eliza Ray Shoup, Audrey Dameron, Tahiri Broom, Sam Nordquist, Arvania Johnson, Omri Dior, Allison Ketchum, also known as Alex, Jay Flores, Leah Joy, Serenity Birdsong, Spencer James Castle, Sydney Leigh Phillips, also known as Sid, Kyla Jane Walker, Quenisha Chantel, also known as Coco, Velasia Wright, an unknown who had perished but we've not been able to identify them, Luisa Rivera, Denise Chucker, Miss Major Griffin Gacy, Leah Smith, Eli Stablin, Ajani Walden, Sir Lady Java, Apollo Moon, Sunny Hopkins, Bianco Astro Arbejo, also known as Jiggly Cliente, Michelle Kammerer, Blaze Alexander Bell Mars Basin, Blake Sturm, Robin James Post, Aurora Pellegrina, also known as Alexa Luna, Kia Leigh Tabitha Roberts, and Johnny Adamo.
So again, we're surrounded by the names of the fallen, the ones that we've lost, the ones we're here to celebrate and commemorate. So I'd ask for a moment of silence while we raise the flag up. We're going to be raising it at half-mast due to some Massachusetts regulations, but the City of Fall River, again, is flying this for the entire week along with our lights and the art exhibit. So, a moment of silence, please.